Coach, this past weekend, coming off the bye week, had it Texas A&M International at home, claimed the sweep over the Dust Devils. Just talk about how your team played in your first games back from the bye week.
Well, thought it was good. Obviously came out Friday, swinging it really well. I think the break helped, just getting some rest. I think the guys were a little tired, and so. I think that sort of rejuvenated everyone, and then it was what a sweep generally is. A sweep generally is two blowouts and then two close ones most of the time, and so you got to find a way to win both those close ones, and we did. Obviously down sort of big in the middle innings of a 7-inning game. In game two, and then to come back and actually win that one sort of comfortably. And then yesterday, wind changed, which we haven't had a lot of north wind days this year. It's been windy, but, favoring the hitters. And, I don't think we scored an earned run yesterday, which, speaks to, again, I think our ability to win in a lot of ways, and again, try to put pressure on the defense with being able to bunt and run and do some things, and I think those were big. And then also the biggest thing was just, without Caleb Hurts and John Stacy right now, I mean, we're, those are two of our top guys, so trying to put together the pitch, and Ron Free definitely answered the call very, very well yesterday, and so that was exciting. Then Keene came in and got his first save with one batter and did it, and he's been doing great, but first time he's sort of been thrust in that particular role, and so a lot of good things.
Last week you talked about how teams can be rusty offensively coming off a bye week. In game one of the series, you scored 10 runs in the first inning. So how are you guys able to get going offensively? And was this a surprise to you?
No, I had a feeling we might do it just because just our bat speed and all the things in practice that week were just different, better. And so that is always a concern. But like I say, it was 1 through 9, and just the bat speed a little better. And I think they were just itching to go play. Been a while since they got to go play a game against somebody wearing different jerseys. And, I think they were excited to get back out there. And so that concern was unjustified.
And you briefly touched on it earlier, but in this sweep you had 2 blowout wins and 2 close wins where you had to come back from multiple runs in the later stage of the game. So how does this team keep finding ways to win?
Well, those are big. We hadn't had any of those. We hadn't had any of those in 2 years, to be honest. So, it's something that you'd think we would have had, but I guess maybe we've just been ahead the whole time. I don't know, but we've had but those are ones you generally like to get, I would say within your first 10 games, because it just breeds a lot of confidence. Even though it's later, I think it still breeds confidence knowing, okay, we've been there and we have done it. Up until this point, we haven't lost a lot, but the ones we have, we've gotten there and just, not quite finished. And so it was good to see us finish.
Coach, you say every year that it takes about 30 games for you to figure out your team's identity. Well, we are exactly 30 games into the season.
Right.
Do you think you have any sort of solidification towards that answer?
I do think a lot better, and I think it took 30 games. I feel like, pitching-wise, again, missing a couple of guys, but now when they come back, it shuffles again probably. But, lineup-wise, we've sort of got what we think we want to do. Obviously, Flood is got an injury, and we'll see how long that is. But, hopefully who gets called upon can jump in there and fill his role, or he'll be back. I mean, I don't know how quick or how long that's going to be. I think we have a lot better sense of who we are. I still think we'll learn a lot more, in the next 20.
And then touching on a couple things from yesterday's game. First things first, you already mentioned Ryan Free, 5.2 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 allowed with 2 hits. And one thing that you were super excited to mention, no walks.
No walks.
So kind of talk about just his performance in general and also being able to call out Nick Wilson early on for a couple innings.
Yeah, so, it's something we used to do quite regularly back in the day. And I don't know, it's unconventional, but if you're up 10-0 in the first inning of a game and your guy that throws Friday night, assuming he's generally one of your best guys, if not your best guy, why you don't say, okay, we should be able to win this game. Let's use some other guys and then bring him back in a game that we don't know what's going to happen, but might be closer. And so you get more impact out of his innings. With today's athlete, it's much more difficult than it was because they are much more on schedules and, and so getting them to do that is more difficult. But having said all that, I don't know, do we win the game yesterday without his 3 innings? So I think it proved to be a good decision. We never lost one of those when we've taken the guy out with a big run, big lead. And I'm sure it happened at some point, and I'll look like an idiot, but that's most days. So anyway, anyway, it worked out good. It's unconventional. Like I say, I don't understand why more people don't do it. My brain works a lot different.
And then, of course, on the offensive side, you mentioned maybe not one of those runs was earned, but we did see shades of your 2023 National Championship team with just being able to rely on small ball with the conditions. I'm sure you practice it, and obviously I know there's guys on that team who did the same things in 2023. Right. But just talk about kind of how that made you feel, knowing that you guys can still go out there and execute it despite not really doing it much in game situations this year. Well,
it's good. I think that's an area too that's still developing and getting better. Early, first week of February or January, wasn't real pleased with how we were bunting. We've gotten way better. And it's just, again, you just, to be great and to have a chance to win it all, which is our goal, you've just got to be able to do what the game asks you to do. And so the games we've played thus far, it didn't really ask you to bunt a lot because you needed to score 22 runs to win. Finally had some weather where it was a tough day to hit, and so you've got to find alternative means to reach first base, to move runners, and to score runs. And, don't hesitate. I think it's a tool in our toolbox that we can use when needed. And so I think it'll still be there, and just sort of the game, the situation's gonna determine whether we need to pull it out or not.
And then lastly, this weekend, hitting the road to travel to Kingsville, take on Texas A&M-Kingsville, the Javelinas. Just what do you think about the matchup, and what do you expect from it?
Well, they went to Lubbock and got Lubbocked. Lost 2 walk-offs. Every game was 35-27. So they get to play baseball this week, and I'm sure they're excited about that because you don't get to do that when you go there. And so they need these wins. It's a different place. It's always tough going down there. The air's heavy. The ball does not travel. It is much more of a pitcher's ballpark. They're going to do a lot of the small ball stuff, that we'll need to handle defensively. And then, free bases are going to be huge. And then hopefully we'll find a way to get a couple. But always a tough place to play, and like I say, I'm sure they're not going to be in good mood. So we'll have to go battle and try to go get as many as we can.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.